Shouldn't be. I mean, if you're a professional basketball player or professional in any sport, you should bring it no matter who you're playing, and that's collectively as a team. And some nights we just don't do that, and it ends up being the nights we don't do it, we lose. And if we don't understand that sooner or later, we're not going to get anything we want out of this season.
The Celtics fall to the Brooklyn Nets 197. We're going to break it down here on the Garden Report, powered by Grandstands on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog.
Yes, I'm the boss.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jared Weiss. I'm here with Darren Hartwell from Nesson.com. We're going to break down the pain and misery that the Celtics suffered today in the Saturday post-New Year's matinee. I think they're still a little bit hungover probably from New Year's.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much champagne. Maybe they were at Dwayne Wade's party.
I was
I'm not
about
sure.
to make that joke, yeah.
Yeah.
Gabrielle Union didn't Instagram any photos of Isaiah Thomas passed out though on New Year's.
Yeah.
But
as far as we know.
Isaiah Thomas actually was pretty aggressive tonight. But this team was unbelievably inconsistent, going up against, let's say, a weak basketball team in Brooklyn, a team that has like three good players. Jarrett Jack hopefully didn't tear his ACL, but went down really hard. Mm-hmm. So that's another guy off the list there. And even with Shane Larkin handling point guard duties in the second half, the Celtics still couldn't really consistently stop the Brooklyn Nets offense.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who killed them was Brook Lopez. He was a beast. I think Brad Stevens said they just like tore through the Celtics front court or something like that. He finished with 30 points, 13 rebounds. We've seen the last couple games now. Julius Randle with the Lakers and Brook Lopez now. They've had a little bit of trouble on their interior defense. So I think that's part of the problem. But there are a lot of issues here.
The Celtics are usually good at handling kind of perimeter dribblers coming in the lane, but really good post players can move guys around. That's part of the problem of not having a rim protector is guys like Brook Lopez, who's one of the most dominant offensive centers in the league, are able to back you down, get through double teams, and make you pay. And we saw so many times where Brook Lopez could get good position in the post. He would just kind of back a guy in, make sure he's just close enough that when he took a giant step around him, he was able to get the shot off. And Lopez, what do you have, 30 points, which was a season high, his first 30-point game of the season. He also had 13 rebounds. I mean, they tried so many things on Lopez, and they couldn't consistently stop him.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Jack out, they were basically running their offense through him. And Stevens tried Zeller, Lee. I mean, Lee obviously didn't play until later, I think in the second quarter. Sullinger, Johnson, nobody could really get the job done on him. He came out hot, but was pretty much a consistent scorer throughout the whole game. And then Joe Johnson down the stretch had a few big shots, kind of maybe a Celtics revenge game from his brief stint.
He's still holding that grudge all the way back then?
Yeah, so I think those two are really the guys that killed him.
And especially what I thought was interesting was I think Stevens, I don't know what it was, desperation or what, but he went with a super small lineup with Lopez out there, which you pretty much never see, where they put Jay Crowder at the 4 and Jonas Jerebko at the 5, and they would basically just try to they ran like a 3-2 zone and try to double team Lopez every time. And that actually was like working for like a few minutes there, but then things kind of fell apart.
Yeah, I think Stevens is to the point where, he's just trying everything. He's not getting the production he needs out of the front court, so go to that small lineup and see what happens. Obviously, they didn't get the results, but in the fourth quarter, they had that comeback. I think Marcus Smart was a big part of that, kind of in that small lineup. When they're running and when they're getting up and down the floor and controlling pace, that's when they're good, but it's a little too late.
Marcus Smart had like 4 interceptions in the fourth quarter. It's like Josh Norman out there.
Yeah.
Incredible plays that he was making, and they were getting a lot of opportunities. But like in the last minute, there were so many execution errors. They kept trying to take a 3 when they were down by 5, when they could have taken a 2 and saved like 15 seconds at least. They did get the 2 eventually, though. Then they trapped really well in the back while the Nets were still in the backcourt. But then when they got over to the front court, they kept trapping. The Nets got through that trap, and they found Brook Lopez for that dunk that basically iced the game. And there were a lot of kind of coaching decision issues there, execution issues there. And it seems like the team is a little unstable right now.
Yeah, especially that late game execution's kind of been an issue all year. Obviously, you don't have the star player type deal. We all know that. But in the last, I think the Warriors game, missed a few. They don't really have like a go-to guy down the stretch. Thomas is the star, but he's hasn't really been effective down the stretch. And Stevens after the game took the blame on himself. You know, kind of one of the typical falling on the sword. You know, this is my fault. I need to be better. But I think it's on the players too.
He kind of kept stabbing himself in the sword. Though,
I know. It looked. Yeah, I saw someone tweet. It's like he looks like he needs a hug out there. So yeah,
I think
true.
Brad always looks like he needs a hug.
Yeah, sad Brad today.
All right, we're gonna hug each other, and then we're gonna come back for part 2. We're gonna go deeper into the Celtics issues. This is the Garden Report, powered by Grandstand on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog.
I just need to do a better job. I mean, this is more on me. This is, you know, we've had multiple times where we're just not playing to a standard we need to play to. We've had multiple practices where, you know, certain guys have really looked good and stood out because others haven't, and that's just bad coaching. So I'll get myself straightened out and I'll work on what needs to be changed.